What's up, guys? LegitBrowniesGaming here, bringing you another episode of the week-long wind down. I apologize for the lack of a week-long wind down last week. Um, I didn't really like making the commentary, and I find like I do my best work when I really want to make a video. So, like if I didn't feel like it, I would have been forcing myself to do it, and it would have been kind of like half-assed and not really, I wouldn't have been into it. So this week, I'm into it. We're gonna make a video. Um, I apologize again for this coming out a day late, but had some technical issues, so we'll work past that. For now, we're gonna talk about the future, right? The prospect of the future. And a lot of times, this is a topic a lot of people don't really like to think about. For some reason, people don't like to think about the prospect of the future. It's a scary thing to them. They're just like, future, I don't know what's going to happen. And it boils down to this, is, um, you know, humans, and on the whole, tend to fear that what they don't know, right? They, if you don't know something, like, it's like the fear of the dark, right? Like you walk into a room and it's totally pitch black. You don't know anything about the room if you've never been in there before. So naturally, you fear what you don't know. For some reason, that's just human nature. Some people seem to not fear what they don't know, right? People that are risk takers. Well, I don't know if I'm going to win or I don't know if I'm going to lose, but I'm going to do it anyway, you know? But when it comes to the future, a lot of people get kind of iffy about it, because it's just weird to think about, right? Like, what's going to happen? Well, if I do this, this could happen. But if I screw this up, this is going to happen, and it's going to lead to terrible things. And I think a lot of the times it's like people tend to go one of two ways with the future. Well, one of three, right? So the first way they can go is they can look at it and just be like, this is going to suck. This is going to be just terrible. It's going to suck dick. Nothing's going to go right. They're going to look at it and they're going to be like, I'm probably going to do this, but I'm going to screw this up at some point. I'm never really going to fully recover from it. It's going to just be terrible. I'm going to be, like to point out specifics, I'm going to be in financial problems. I'm not going to have this ready. I'm never going to find someone. Some people tend to look at the future as like extremely depressed, an extremely depressing prospect. And some people look at the future as something that they're really gonna just kick ass at. They're gonna like, oh my god, I'm gonna be amazing at life. I'm gonna have millions of dollars and I'm going to sleep with whoever I want and I'm gonna get all the women. And then there's the guys in the middle that are like they look at it realistically, like, you know what? I might not be the richest person ever, but I don't think the future's gonna be all that bad. It's something that they look forward to, right? They look forward to the challenge of like, I don't know what's coming down the line, I don't know what's coming down the pike, but whatever's coming down at me, I'm gonna face it and I'm gonna get through it. So the problem with looking at the future extremely depressed is that now you don't want to deal with it, right? You don't want the future to come. You're afraid of it because you think it's gonna suck. You think shit's gonna hit the fan. It's gonna go everywhere, and you're gonna be in the main firing line. And it's not a good way to look at it because now you don't want anything to happen. You're not motivated to make stuff happen because you think it's gonna suck regardless of what you do. And then, it just kind of spirals from there into just being complacent and be like, ooh, I don't give a fuck. Um, Looking at it overly positive isn't exactly the greatest thing either, because I feel like if you look at things like I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to be this, this, and this, then you tend to create sort of this goal, this dream, this standard for yourself that you really can't live up to. Well, that's not fair to say. Some people have lived up to it, like, Bill Gates and other entrepreneurs that are extremely successful, rich, and famous. But if you set these just outlandish goals for yourself and then you don't meet them, then you just you just feel like a failure, right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't aim high. Always aim high. If there's something that you're doing right now, chances are you can do it better. So you should always strive to better yourself and have good goals and aim high. Shoot for the stars. If you was it shoot for the moon, if you miss, you'll land among the stars, which technically isn't true. You'll most likely end up floating in space, considering how far apart the stars are from each other. But that's scientific, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't aim high. Everyone should want a better life. Everyone should want a good life. But I'm just saying, aim high, but keep it realistic, right? Set your goal. Like, say, okay, 10 years from now, I want to start a family. I want to be financially secure. I want to start a family, and I want to settle down somewhere. Like, that's a realistic set of goals, right? Now, if 10 years from now you have a family, you're settled down somewhere, but you're a multi-millionaire, that might not have been, um, like, that might have not been what you're expecting, but that doesn't detract from the joy of it, right? If you weren't expecting to be a millionaire and then you become a millionaire, oh, great, you know? But if you're expecting to become a millionaire and then you just kind of falter and you're like, oh, I'm stuck in some dead end job, then you kind of feel like, you've failed your goals. And not necessarily. I mean, to be successful doesn't necessarily mean you have to be drowning in women. You don't have to have millions of dollars, you know? If you're just a generally good person, I mean, if you've achieved your goals in life, then you can consider yourself successful. Now, the middleman, right? The guy who sees the future realistically, this, but isn't overly depressed about it, but doesn't set these goals that he's not planning on reaching, I guess you can say. I think that's the best way to handle it. Like, my prospect of the future right now is I'm excited for the future, right? Every day is a new day. You've got to take it like that, Just take it in stride. Every day is a new day. Every day is an opportunity for something amazing to happen, and every day you can make your life better. So every day is the future if you think about it, right? The future could reference tomorrow, the future could reference a week from now, a month from now, or 10 years from now. But what you gotta do is you gotta make the most of whatever you're handed, right? So if your plans for the future are to say to start a family, be financially secure and settle down, and say you're like 26 and you're financially secure, you have a house, but you haven't gotten a family yet. Now, you don't need to get down on yourself. You don't need to get overly depressed because you've accomplished two of the things. Quite honestly, you've probably accomplished two of the easy things. Well, not easy. Easy being relative, because I mean, you know, being financially secure is, I don't want to say it's easier than finding someone to start a family with, but, you know, you know what I'm getting at, hopefully. It's one of those discrepancies that you really can't explain. Yeah. So, like, you gotta take it in stride, right? So you're 26, you don't have a family yet. That's all right. Just keep working at it. Eventually, something's gonna have to happen. Something's gonna have to give. Like I talked about this a little bit in my commentary about life. Life gets better. So if you just keep working at it, you just keep trying. You meet new people. You're going out. You're putting yourself out there. Something's got to give eventually, man. You know. So another thing about the future that a lot of people don't like is the fact that they feel like they're gonna regret something, right? Like they're afraid that in the future they're gonna do something, or the polar opposite, that they're not gonna do something and they're gonna end up regretting it. So they're like, oh, I don't wanna go into the future and I don't wanna marry too early and never experience things, or oh, I don't wanna not marry when I have the chance and then never get married after that. You can't think like that, right? Like, 'cause you don't know what's coming down at you. If everyone knew what life was about to hand them, life would be kind of boring, wouldn't it? I mean, if you wake up and Someone hands you a memo sheet and you're like, oh, let's see, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna eat breakfast, I'm gonna go to school. Oh man, I'm gonna fail this test. That sucks. Um, my friend's gonna walk up to me. Oh, cool. Looks like we're gonna hang out this weekend. Um, but then on Sunday I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get yelled at. Right. Because, my wife or whatever is gonna yell at me. That's not that fun. And then, Monday I'm gonna end up getting sick and be sick for the rest of the week. So, alright, like that would be kind of stupid. Like, you know what's gonna happen. Oh, it's kind of stupid. The prospect of the unknown doesn't have to be terrifying. Not knowing if what's gonna happen can be part of the thrill of life, you know? Like you gotta just make the most of your opportunities that life presents you, and you just gotta really go from there, right? So, if something's unknown, don't immediately resort to fearing it because that unknown can turn out to be something really great. Like, if we'll go back to the room example. Say you walk in this room and you see something shiny, but you don't know what it is, and you're kind of scared that it's going to be a knife or something pointed at your jugular in about 4 seconds. So you run away. But turns out what was shiny was a diamond that could have made you $1 million, right? Now, I'm not saying uselessly risk your life and go out and get shanked in the throat trying to make a few cheap bucks. Sorry about that. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the unknown doesn't have to be terrifying. It can be an exciting adventure. I mean, if you never face the unknown in your life, then you're never going to know how you would handle such a situation. You're never going to have that experience. You're never going to have that sense of adventure and sense of finding out just exactly what's going on in this world, you know? So, I mean, it's just the future doesn't have to be terrifying. I think even if you're like 50 years old, there's still a future for you. Assuming you don't drop dead the minute this commentary ends, there's still a future out there for you. You can still change things. You can still get stuff done. At no point in your life should you ever just be like, well, folding in the towel, that's it. This life, I'm done. There's nothing left for me out there. You could be 96 and walk outside and discover that there's, you be 96, walk outside your backyard, decide to dig up a plant and find like a gold coin or something, right? And then where do you go from there? You have that future, right? So there's always something out there. There's never a time where life just stagnates and you're just like, oh well, that's done. I mean, it may seem like that when you hit your early 30s. I mean, if you're, well, not necessarily your 30s, but like, if you settle down with a family and you're like 40 years old, you're like, well, this is gonna be my life, you know? Better get used to it, because this shit's gonna be every day for the next at least 18 years. But it doesn't have to be like that. Make it something good. So, like, say, take that example. You're settled down, you're 30, and you have a kid. Don't say, well, this is gonna be my life for the next 18 years. Look at it and say, you know what? I'm going to be a parent for the next 18 years. I'm going to watch this child grow up and I can, kind of help this child understand life and give him or her guidance and, make this human being's life better. And what do you do after that? Well, now that your kid's all grown up, there's still stuff out there for you to do. You know, now that you've lived life and you have that experience, you can go out and do stuff. So, I mean, you know, I think I did touch on this in my life video, but don't ever think life is over. Don't ever think that, you know, this is it. My life is gonna suck. Because who knows? Nobody knows what's gonna happen. And that's part of the fun of life. So that was really just my little spiel on my opinions on life and what goes on in it. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of update on the channel here at the tail end of the video. Um, Nick the other day put out another quick scoping montage. I'm gonna be starting a new series soon. Um, maybe this maybe this video is a little bit of a hint at what it is. You know, who knows? Who knows? Hint, hint. Life is unpredictable. But for anyone that's been here long term, I did this series a while back. I got about 2 or 3 episodes in, and then just kind of discontinued it. But I'm going to be working on a new series. It's going to be awesome, going to be great. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. And that'll be an awesome time. I'm still going to be doing GM modes. Still going to be doing week-long wind downs. Eventually, I'm going to get around to doing a random game again. I don't know exactly when. But, once I stop being a lazy bastard, that'll happen at some point. I'll wrap that series up. But the video here is coming to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next week.